Unfrozen.
What?
What?
Okay, I'm in chat. Somebody post the link.
Mer just posted it. This home.
I mean, I didn't see it because I wasn't logged into Twitch, and
I will copy and paste it and post it again. Wait, I can't do that because I can't pause a multiplayer game. Never mind.
okay. I'm gonna
My mom
read this.
leaving Area 51 with the button that pauses multiplayer games.
Project Bartleby has not gotten around to digitizing Keeler yet, so to give you a rough idea of what a Keeler novel encompasses, here's a synopsis of The Man with the Magic Eardrums, 1939. Bookmaker Mortimer Q. King returns to his Minneapolis home in the middle of the night to find a burglar, Peter Givney, entering an upstairs window. King pulls a gun on Givney and demands how he knew the house would be deserted. Givney shows him a clipping from a newspaper, the first of several that advance the plot, that claims the king is in a sanitarium in Virginia and that his wife Laurel is in sackcloth and ashes for her annual 3-day novena in memory of her father at the convent of Sisters of St. Ethelreda in
What is this sentence? Hi, Heinz.
The story about King being in the sanitarium, however, was a lie given out by the Kings to confuse subpoena servers who want King to appear before the coming Senate hearing on the abolishment of racetrack betting.
What the fuck?
The burglar alludes to a seemingly unrelated chain of events making front-page news. In London, Empress Jemima Cobb is to be hung at sunrise. Jemima, who is black, has murdered her Chinese lover. She is also the madam of England's most notorious whorehouse, specializing in deformities and freak. In a last-ditch effort to save herself, Cobb has threatened to reveal the identity of the white man in America to whom she is secretly married. This information, she swears, will somehow cause a war between the U.S. and England if she is executed. Chapter 1 ends on the revelation that Mortimer King is the white American legally married to Jemima Cobb.
Hey, Jane,
Years
grab
previously,
Okay.
King had married Cobb under the influence of voodoo drugs. Since the newspapers had erroneously reported Cobb's death years ago, he never got a divorce from Cobb before marrying Laurel, nor in the view of Laurel's southern background. He had the nerve to tell her about the marriage.
I need to get a face cam, because there's not any words for how I feel right now, but I feel like
for
my
the
facial expressions and
I'm literally tilting right now.
What? Like, every word of that made it sound more and more like you were, like, reading, like, a word puzzle, where the challenge is to discern meaning from this knot of nonsense.
Oh, it gets even weirder.
Oh, God.
It gets weirder. In a vain attempt to get her sentence commuted, Cobb revealed the solution to the Malkovich riddle to the British Home Secretary.
Sorry, the fucking what?
The Malkovich riddle. This is a mystery that had been puzzling the British police for years. Nikolai Malkovich, a bearded Russian anarchist of about 40, was under observation by 2 American agents on suspicion of dynamiting the American embassy. He was trailed to Cobb's whorehouse in Exeter Heath in London. With both entrances under surveillance, the British police closed in to arrest Malkovich. Inside, they found Cobb and 5 prostitutes, Theodora, who was French, cross-eyed Gertrude, Coco from Singapore, hunchbacked Minnie, and Katie, a German with 7 fingers on each hand. But no Malkovich. The police looked under the beds, in the walls, and in all possible hiding places. The furnace was checked for evidence of cremation, but not so much as a button or belt buckle was found. Finally, the owner of the building, a religious man appalled at its use, demolished the structure before the eyes of the police. No secret panels or chambers were found. Cobb and each of the prostitutes were identified by
the best or worst thing that's
officer who raided the house previously. Each person seized in the raid was isolated from the others and interrogated separately. Each seemed genuinely not to know what happened to Malkovich. Malkovich was never seen again, alive or dead. The Home Secretary vowed to publish Cobb's explanation of the puzzle in his memoirs.
How long is this book?
That was just the first 2 chapters.
What the fuck?
King asks the burglar how he planned to open the safe, a burglar-proof 5-dial Nixon Duval model with no tumblers. Givney explains that he's virtually stone deaf and hears only with hearing aids. By accident, he was giving a set of hearing aids that work so well,
Bra moment.
normally inaudible noises. He was given like daredevil powers by his magic hearing aids. Givney discovered that he can even hear slight
Netflix's next
magnetic
original series. Trey,
slight
you
magnetic,
can't keep comments like that to the text chat.
slight magnetic stresses in the wall of the safe caused by the electric mechanism, and can thus open the safe about half the time. Oh boy, this is
Does it just keep going on like this?
Yes.
For how long?
For a little bit.
Can you skip to
I'm
the
about
end?
halfway through.
Oh my god.
So he cuts a deal with the safe crack.
Sure, of course, obviously.
And he decides to he is anxious to get the safe open, it turns out, because he returned home with the intention of stealing his own wife's jewel because of his, series of business reverses in his bookmaking operations, and had actually been sleeping in a flop house in San Francisco and had not told his wife about it. And that, and because she always said that if he ever went broke, it would be God's sign of disapproval of gambling, and she would not help him. So he wanted to use the jewels to finance.
Hey Trey, are you following any of this?
God, no.
At least it's not just me.
And she, while he was in San Francisco, she had the safe replaced with the new burglar-proof model without telling him the combination. So he makes the proposal to Givney, gives a phone call to Saul Steenberg, an attorney from Buffalo, who offers King $500 for the human skull he keeps as a good luck charm. Steenberg, calling from a nearby drugstore, wants to come over immediately, but insists they must speak in private. King has Givney take out his hearing
calling
aids.
from the nearby drugstore.
King has Givney take out his hearing aids so he won't be able to eavesdrop and hide in the closet. King hides the skull in the wastebasket in case Steenberg intends to take it by force. Steenberg arrives and tells his story. He's the son of Rabbi David Steenberg, who happens to be an expert on the evils of racetrack betting and is scheduled to appear at the same congressional
racetrack betting
hearing that King is being subpoenaed to attend, connecting it even more convolutedly. In one of the many subplots that is never resolved, Steenberg is representing Du Ching, a Chinese laundry owner who is suing the Buffalo Trust and Savings Bank, claiming he is legal owner of the land on which their new skyscraper is constructed. According to Su Ching, his grandfather, Su Long, was given the land by Christopher Schurz, a grateful customer disgusted with the sawtooth edges other laundries left on his shirt's detachable cuffs. The customer gave him a deed which was discovered hidden in the wrapping of an ironing board 55 years later.
Hey, Shredney, I have a question.
Yes.
When does Friska show up? You can take that, Trey.
The deed was made out to S. By coincidence, however, Christopher Schurz also had a nephew by the name of Samuel Long. On his deathbed, forgot the previous deed in his delirium and made out another deed in the name of his nephew. He also carelessly referred to as S. Long.
I'm gonna need to highlight, I'm gonna need to do a stream highlight of this entire thing. This is amazing.
Steenberg needs the skull because, unknown to King, it is the only physical evidence of the gangland-style murder of Blinky, a one-eyed gigolo. Steenberg has a client. Steenberg has a client known as Big Shoes, who was unwittingly involved in the murder of Blinky. Another gangster, Cokie, a drug addict, of course he's called Cokie, knows of Big Shoes' involvement and it is feared that the New York City police will soon arrest Cokie. When they do, Steenberg says, they will bribe Cokie with shots of morphine, and in the agonies of withdrawal, he will tell them about the Blinky.
Hey,
The one-eyed gigolo.
I think there might not be a funnier sentence, like, not even a sentence, a funnier phrase in the English language than Blinky, a one-eyed gigolo.
The gangland-style murder. Blinky, a one-eyed
R.I.P.
gigolo.
Blinky, we stand a legend.
And he has a client called Big Shoes, who was unwittingly involved in the murder of Blinky, a one-eyed gigolo.
Hey, who's your favorite Memphis rapper minus Big Shoes?
Yeah, I thought Cokie and Blinky pretty good features on that one Big Shoes project.
Is there more? Does this
But I
just
heard they
keep
wound up
going?
with beef. It keeps going.
My God.
The principle of corpus delicti identificatus, get fancy with the Latin there, operating in Wisconsin and Minnesota requires that the identity of a dead body or remains be established before a charge of murder can be brought. The skull can be identified as that of Blinky because Blinky suffered from an unusual facial neuritis, and a set of x-rays of his head are on file at a medical institute. Big Shoes has a criminal record. And because of the habitual criminal acts of various Midwestern states, this is very well, he clearly read up him on the law and places. He can be sentenced to life in prison for the most trifling transgression if he ever leaves the state of Illinois. The skull was dug up by Henry Spivey, a Wisconsin farmer.
Why did
who
they
happened
just
to-
keep introducing new characters?
who happened to be a hunting partner of one of King's employees. This employee mentioned King's belief in superstitions, such as never allowing his picture to be taken, and believed that any part of a skeleton of a man was good luck. Since a bullet hole proved the skull was from a murdered man, Spivey sold it to King. King also believes, however, that a good luck charm that has been altered is bad luck, and Steenberg, the skull has been drilled without King's knowledge. For King's maid, Rosalda, lent it to a friend, Dr. Stephen...
Brule.
It's a very complicated Polish name that even I'm finding difficult to pronounce.
No, just call him Brule. It's fine.
Styczynskiewicz.
No, it's fine. Steve Brule. He's
Styczynskiewicz.
Steve Brule now.
Get out.
His maid. Yeah, I'm with Haru. His maid just
Dr. Steve.
lent
Dr.
his.
Steve.
Hold on, no.
He's Dr. Steve.
Hold on. His maid just lent his lucky skull without his knowledge to a friend of hers.
For a mock operation. His brother, Dr. Steve's brother, is the notorious gangster Two-Gun Polak Eddie. Suffering from a painful...
That's two nicknames!
Yes. Suffering from a painful, pus-impacted sinus. Since the police had requested that doctors remove anyone with this condition, Eddie had to go to his brother for the operation, even though Dr. Steve had not performed sinus operations in years. He decided that he needed to perform 3 practice operations before operating on Eddie, so he obtained 2 skulls, one from Rosalda, and 1 cadaver head to work on. King's skull was returned, but the operation left a drill hole, and in King's view, ruined it as a talisman.
Was doing fine, and then suddenly not.
No, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I was too busy being enthralled by the only story that matters.
Yes. The story is interrupted by an anonymous phone call
Oh
warning
my
King
God!
that the Minneapolis Morning Bugle has learned that he is the husband Jemima... Sorry, not Jeremiah. That would be interesting. Jemima Cobb will name and has already set the story in type with his name in the headline and candid snapshot of King columns wide. This is a double whammy for King, for not only does he feel it is bad luck to have his picture taken, but a legal agreement with his wife requires that he do everything possible to keep his name out of papers. He tells Steenberg that the skull, actually in the wastebasket, has been sent to a friend who needed it for a Halloween party. Steenberg proposes that King or a messenger go to Chicago with the skull in a crimson shoebox with holes punched in it, so that passers-by it will be thought to contain a pet lizard or toad, and meet Big Shoes outside of the Quincy Street post office. Big Shoes will look in the shoebox and give King or the messenger $500. This agreed, Steenberg leaves. King lets Givney out of the closet. King notices another newspaper clipping in Givney's pocket. It reveals that Givney was arrested for making fun of Long John Van Christopher, a 7-foot-high traffic officer who was the cousin of King's wife Laurel and a Harvard-educated PhD. A 7-foot-tall traffic officer is the millionaire's wife's cousin and is a Harvard-educated PhD, and he's called Long John.
And then Rachel made out with Joey, but Rachel was still in love with.
I swear to God, this is like trying to summarize Act 6 of Holmes.
I don't even know Friends well enough to goddamn continue that bit.
And then Koyomi entered, drawing his blade.
Okay, King tells Givney of his financial plight. In San Francisco, he was down
Dirk
to
cuts his head off.
his last $5 when he found a local bookie offering extremely favorable odds on long shot. He bet $2 on a parlay, paying off 100 to 1. As he left the office, he met a man asking for an inside tip. The man said he was dying of cancer and wanted passage to Australia, where his only relative ran a nursing home, and he could make his last days as comfortable as possible. King told him about the bet. The bet came in, and the man was so grateful that he repaid King by giving him information that would allow him to rob his own wife. For the man was actually Alonzo Hetchel, who had been hired by Laurel in Minneapolis as a gardener in King's absence.
This thing is like a narrative nuclear bomb.
Okay, not knowing of the new safe, Hetchel and King thought he only needed to make sure that the servants, Rosalda and Otto, were out of the house at the same time on some night when Laurel was at the convent. While employed in the King household, Hetchel learned that both Rosalda and Otto had love interests in other cities. Both lovers were married and thus communicated to them only in typewritten letter. Gretchen, Otto's German mistress, wrote in German on an L.C. Smith typewriter, specific brand of typewriter, with red ribbon. Tomacek, Rosalda's lover, wrote in Polish on an Underwood machine. King found a former professor of languages on San Francisco's Skid Row and had him compose 2 letters, typing them on the respective machines in typewriters' dealer shops. The letters told Otto and Rosalda to meet their lovers on the evening of October 22nd in different cities. Thus, King came home expecting the house to be empty, his plan foiled only by the new burglar-proof safe. He planned to stop Cobb from revealing him as her husband. In the safe is an emerald ring of Laurel's that he can sell, no question asked, to an eccentric emerald collector for $1,000 cash. This money King plans to wire to Britain to a friend named Horses.
A friend named Horses?
A former employee and ex-actor so deathly afraid of being burned alive that he carries a vial of cyanide on his watch chain to swallow should he ever be trapped in a burning building. Well then, these are all details. This feels like he crammed characters from 10 different novels he was working on.
Is that the end of the description?
No. Well, the description of the god. Okay, these are elaborate plans. Okay, no, what happens is King knows that Jemima Cobb in turn is so afraid of being lynched that she will do anything to. Ooh, that's very awkward. During their brief stint as man and wife, she told King that if she were ever facing the gallows, she would tell the police that she has a brother. This would allow friends to send someone posing as her brother to give her a vial of poison. King's $1,000 from the Emerald would induce horses, who was also black and English, to pose as Jemima's brother and slip her the poison. These elaborate plans come to naught, however, because Givney, after learning King's story, feels he has the upper hand and balks at opening the safe. King sweetens the deal by offering Givney the chance to take the skull to Chicago in the Crimson Shoebox and get the $500. Givney, however, did not overhear the conversation with Steenberg and suspects that it is a trick. Meanwhile, the hour of Cobb's execution is drawing near. King calls up a late-night news service of the newspaper. He asks an operator for any new developments on the Pentonville prison matter. But the operator hears only a first part of his request and connects him to a recording of developments about a certain William Penton, a journalist fired by the morning newspaper who broke into the Minneapolis phone exchange and tapped into an experimental service that allows authorities to call and address every man in Minneapolis and tell them that they would be named as every phone in the Minneapolis area simultaneously in a time of emergency. Penton used this service to call every man in Minneapolis and tell them that they would be named as Jemima Cobb's husband.
Oh, we fought it before.
Of the Morning Bugle.
I don't remember
This was the anonymous phone call that King received
the mask guy.
Oh, it turns out that somebody literally hacked the phones and sent that message to everyone. What? That's the twist? Meanwhile, the British Home Secretary reveals that Molkovich was a circus bearded lady, the twin of Cobb's French prostitute Theodora. Her name was Theodosia Brianza, and her circus ranged through Russia and Poland. She learned some English from a human skeleton, Oliver Peed. Anxious to see her sister, she got a passport under a man's name so she could travel without having to shave her beard. Theodosia went to Cobb's whorehouse only so she could learn the sad news that Cobb had just identifying the body of Theodora at the morgue. Sick of the carnival life, Theodosia agreed to shave her beard and assume the role of her sister. She took off her cheap Russian man suit and burned it. Buttons were celluloid, so there was no telltale evidence in the furnace. When the house's occupants were arrested, Cobb, out on bail, smuggled a razor to Theodosia so she could remain clean-shaven in prison. Cobb was executed but went mad in her last hours. She named the President of the United States as her husband. At the very end, it is revealed, so it seems, that Givney is really Mortimer King, and King is a burglar who climbs out the window and runs away with the skull and the last 2 dimes in his pocket.
What?
And that's how it ends. It's just the first part of one of the... it turns out... Now, here's the final note. Sorry, that's where the novel ends. It turns out that The Man with the Magic Eardrums was just the first part of one of those mega novels that Killer's publishers demanded he break into smaller pieces. Maybe the next installment makes all sense of all of this. Or maybe the book after it, that does.
Shredney? Shredney?
Yes.
Are we alright?
Yeah.
Are we good?
Yeah.
Are we... I just wanted to make sure. That was a lot. That was like a solid 20 minutes of... I don't know what that was. Is that what Homestuck is?